The High Court has dismissed a bid by former President Jacob Zuma and French arms company Thales to have corruption charges against them dropped. This is in connection with the long-running arms deal trial. Newzroom Afrika's politics editor, Vuyo Mvoko, joins us live from the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. Vuyo, perhaps not a surprise here, just given what the NPA has said about the former president's Stalingrad approach to the arms deal case.
Did well, though not quite the ruling on the Stalingrad tactics of the former president, a la the NPA. That matter is still pending. The judge has given the dates of the 20th to the 24th to deal with that particular issue. But what is a blow to the former president today is the court deciding that the judge saying he doesn't think a different. Remember, there was a ruling last year in June, which the former president and Thales then appealed, which, of course, the court today was pronouncing on that particular appeal. The judge saying he is not convinced that a different court will arrive at a different decision, and thereby dismissing the former president and Thales' application. But to talk us through more of what the judge had to say in less than half an hour is the time it took for him to pronounce on both issues. But Abigail Ngobeni was sitting through it all and joins me now for some analysis. As Michelle was saying, not a real surprise, but of course everyone looking forward to what he was going to say were his reasons for confirming that ruling which this court gave in June last year.
Yeah, I think you are right. It's not something that is really surprising, and one have followed even the argument stage. So Judge clearly today took us step by step of every ground of appeal that have been brought by the two accused. And in all of them, he arrived at one conclusion to say he is not persuaded that any other court will arrive at any different conclusion from what is here. And of course, there was something that stood out, of course, that was argued by Advocate Dalimpo for SC to the extent of mischaracterization. And remember that there was an argument to the extent that the judge misdirected himself in focusing on Section 35(3)D instead of 35(3)I, and Judge clearly says, I do not think that that argument finds application on the basis that the ruling was specific, that it dealt much with the right to adduce and challenge evidence.
A blow today for the former president and arms manufacturer Thales, but certainly not the end of the road.
It is really not the end of the road, and you would have listened to Judge Tilly was particular to say this court will benefit from what the Supreme Court of Appeal has to say before he rules on an application to stop Stalingrad. So it's titled. So it gives them a room to say they can always petition the Supreme Court of Appeal, and if they fail, they can always apply to the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal for reconsideration before they go to the Constitutional Court. So there's still some steps that they can follow within the time frames that are established in terms of the rule for them to have them heard in higher courts. So we'll wait and see what that will happen.
However, on the second matter, which was the NPA's application to say, let the trial begin, and whatever the former president still had to say or issues that he wants to raise, he can do so, but while at the same time the NPA was or would have been allowed to continue with the trial, because the NPA has argued it has been ready. It's only been the former president who has actually put stumbling block after stumbling block, thereby making it impossible for the case to proceed. On that one, Judge clearly saying between the 20th and the 24th, that's when he will, of course, give his ruling on the back of a petition that the former president and Thales would have made to the appeal court, which, as you just said, he stands, or the court stands to benefit from.
I think that is the approach that this court have taken to say it will benefit. It wants to hear what the Supreme Court will say on this aspect of the leave to appeal on the main application. So on that day, the court will pronounce itself on whether or not this trial should continue despite the appeal being noted. You'll understand, Vuyo, that this is one of those exceptional cases that are complex. It's not a straightforward matter. Even the application that is brought, the law is particular to say it's on certain exceptional circumstances where an order for execution will be ordered to proceed, will not be suspended pending the appeal. So I think Judge Thales is saying, let me rather wait and hear what the Supreme Court of Appeal is going to pronounce itself and benefit from that judicial reasoning and then be able to order in comprehensively on the other one.
Remind us again, because I keep going back to this, because I think it's important for the public to know what is at stake, especially because this is also a case embroiled in politics, and often those issues get conflated. What is at stake for South Africa's criminal justice system if indeed this case is allowed to continue even further, on top of the fact that it has lasted for almost 2 decades?
What is important for every criminal justice system of the country is for the public to have confidence in it. And where there is a likelihood of having the public trust eroded, it's on the justice system to show its resilience, that it can stand the test of time. So what is a balancing exercise and what makes it even more complex is that constitutionally there are rights, and the Constitution is the supreme law of the Republic. And the former President Zuma is exercising his rights constitutionally. But that needs to be balanced with the rights, of course, and the interest of the society to see to it and whether or not limitation of those rights are justified in the context of the constitutional provisions.
A tricky balancing act that the judge had to strike there. And that's where things are.